The practice and idea of money tithing is believed to have spread from the state to the church, and here's how it's believed to have happened. In the first six centuries of the church, the founding fathers consistently, as I said, rejected any efforts to require or enforce money tithing, although a few adopted voluntary tithing. In the 7th and 8th centuries, leasing land was a common practice. The use of the tenth, or 10% of a person's income to pay the rent, was commonly used to pay the landlord. So it'd be amazing if that was done today. In other words, it'd be like, you want to lease some land? Okay, what's your income? It'll be 10% of that. Whatever's your income, we'll take 10%. That's how it was done in those days. We'll take 10% of your income for this land, to lease this land. As the church increased in the ownership of land, the 10% rent charge shifted from secular landlords to the church. Now you have people giving 10% of their income to lease land owned by the church. Catch the transition? Ecclesiastical leaders became the landlords. The church became the landlords, collecting 10% of people's income for the land. This gave the 10% rent charge new meaning, as it was then being seen as being identical to the Levitical tithe. The people are already giving 10% of their income. It's coming into the church. Ain't this the same thing that we see in the Old Testament? Therefore, the Christian tithe is based on a fusion of Old Testament practices and a common system of land leasing in medieval Europe. That's how it happened. So, let's make a few observations. Before the 8th century, the money tithe, wherever it was adopted, was practiced as a voluntary offering. By the end of the 10th century, it became a legal mandatory religious practice to fund the state church. The tithe, required by law in many areas of Western Europe. By the end of the 10th century, it became viewed as a moral requirement supported by the Old Testament. So realize, for 300 years, followers of Christ did not practice tithing at all. And one reason was because they had already been giving generously, often well above 10% of their resources from the beginning. Of course they were giving at that level. When the church got started, folks were selling everything. Tithing did not become widely accepted among Christians until the 8th century. By the 10th century, as I said, it became mandatory. I didn't research this for you to go back and challenge your pastors and church leaders. I have to say that to everybody online. I didn't say all this for you to go back to your pastor in your church and say, that pastor on the internet that I saw told me I don't need to be paying tithes no more. Don't go back and challenge your pastor and your leaders. This began as a personal study of research to try to resolve the tithe question for myself as a church leader. I didn't want to teach just what I was taught. I didn't want to teach something I had not personally studied and researched. I had been told by my overseer, I've mentioned that to you guys already, my pastoral preparation assessment, that the one area I needed to improve was in the area of my Christian education studies. So I've been learning the proper way to study the Bible, the proper way to rightly divide the word. I've been learning how to not read into the scripture, but to take out from what is actually there. That's when you hear that word exegetical study, to take out from what is actually there. Don't read into it your own meaning. I've been learning how to follow the rules of Bible study. Well, when I followed the rules of how to read and study the Bible, this is what emerged for me. From this point, now you must choose to become a more educated believer on this and many other Christian doctrines.